Didn't Hunter Biden say he smoked Parmesan cheese or something like that?
Yeah, he said he smoked.
He is on the brink. You know, one thing about meth, MDMA, methyl and methamphetamine, which is a type of meth, is used in like couples therapy because if used right, certain types of meth are incredibly good for you. But so like, the word meth gets a bad reputation.
Yeah, amphetamine and
yeah, certain types of amphetamines, if used in the right environment, can be beneficial. Crystal meth, though, I've never heard any lab uses of that.
Yeah, because I think it takes a different form.
Yes.
You have to chemically put this together in it.
I think Adderall is for different amphetamine salts or something like that.
Yeah. So, but you get into these weird things, man. You say, okay, what if all drugs were legalized and everybody can use any drug they want? So you just say you started using heroin and you're a father of 3 children. You know, you can't be a dad smoking heroin all day or whichever way you're doing it. You can't be a productive dad doing these things. And my thing is that you're not going to grow it in your backyard. You're going to get it from somebody. So if you can stop the person from delivering it, then you're going to save a lot more people than just letting it flow freely.
Good luck, because they're getting it out of Afghanistan.
This is interesting because I'm pretty libertarian when it comes to drugs. I'm fairly in favor of some form of like mass legalization, but with some kind of regulation. So the idea would be you'd have to go to a specialty clinic to buy it. It's legal, and that way they can make sure you don't overdose. It's in a controlled situation, and they can get you off it. They can slowly lower your dosage and help you, get away from withdrawal symptoms and things like that. I've often been a proponent of that. There's one big caveat that has no answer. Opiates already are legal.
They are.
The doctors prescribe them left and like sugar, sugar candies, and then people get addicted, and then they die from it.
Yeah,
that's actually George Floyd. His girlfriend testified that they were both had some injuries and chronic pain and were prescribed opiates, and then they got addicted to it. And that's a physiological dependence. So then they were like, when the doctor wouldn't give them anymore, they freaked out and just started becoming habitual drug users.
Yeah, I see that happening, but I think you got the people that become habitual people, and then you got people that's just making excuses. When I go to the doctor and I have any kind of thing, I elect not to take drugs. I just don't want to take the drugs.
Yeah.
Now, if it's something that like your leg is broken in half and they got to give you something,
antibiotic.
Yeah, and then antibiotic. They give you something that's going to stop the pain. That could be a pretty harsh drug. Then you'll take it. My wife, when she, after her pregnancy, she had a C-section and they gave her pain pills. But of course, we're monitoring it. We're like, okay, we're not going to take that after you need it. We're not going to overdo it.
Right.
We're going to balance enduring the pain and not taking too much. But some people are, people make excuses, man. And they go, well, I was addicted.
Definitely.
Nobody told you to take Percocet after your illnesses were over, just because you had a big bottle of Percocet. You need to, and some people sell it. The doctor prescribes crazy amounts of drugs, which I think that needs to be regulated.
Yep.
I think of my wife. They gave her a big old thing of pills. She's not gonna need that many pills that long. You know how much money she can get if she sold them on the street? You're talking about $25, $50 a pill. I don't know how strong the pill was, but you're talking $20-some a pill, and you got 200 pills in this thing. You can make money, and people fake injuries, and they get injured, and they get in the dope game this way. So I think that we should regulate the legalized drugs that we're already administering to people. We should regulate those things and make sure they're not abusing those things. And we should enforce these produced, unmanaged, like you said, these drugs are not being, we don't know how they're making these drugs.
Yeah.
Like I said, Sherm, smoking Sherm is what I was referring to. Smoking Sherm.
Oh, yeah, with the formaldehyde.
With the formaldehyde and marijuana. And then Primos. When I was growing up, it's called Primo, where you have weed, but you put a little crack. Somebody put crack in it. Oof. That's why when you get your weed, you got to open it up and go through it and make sure people aren't putting pieces of crack or other drugs in your marijuana. And so some people smoking Primo and they don't know it, then they get addicted to crack or whatever drugs that they end up lacing the marijuana with. So
I got to pull this story up, man, because I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think most of you may have seen the story, but I pulled up Snopes.
Oh my.
Because everybody loves Snopes.
They're so accurate.
They're so accurate. Did Hunter Biden say he smoked Parmesan cheese?
Yes, tell us.
For people
Snopes.
addicted to crack cocaine, cravings often drive decision making. True. Okay. That's it. Snopes confirms.
That's the casein in the cheese. I hear that.
In an interview broadcast on April 4th, Hunter Biden, the son of the president, said he mistook Parmesan cheese for crack in the past and accidentally smoked the dairy product. They say, while it was true, Hunter Biden said, I probably smoked more Parmesan cheese than anyone. His statements implied that he mistook other granular items for the drug during the depths of his crack addiction. Additionally, it was false to frame that quote as a confession that he sought out and smoked Parmesan cheese specifically to try to get high.
I still.
It's worse.
Confirmed.
It's worse. Dude, listen, if somebody was like, you ever try smoking Parmesan? I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Sure,
That's not as bad as someone being like, I'm so addicted to crack, I'm going to smoke white powder.
Any
I don't know what it
white powder.
is.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
Anything.
Salt.
Wait, breadcrumbs on the ground. I'm just gonna start smoking everything I see on the ground. I'm just on the ground, just picking up stuff
the
to put in the
carpet.
pipe to smoke.
Jeez.
White powder, whatever it is. I don't
Whatever
know.
it is, dude. Whatever
I
it is.
smoked sage
How do
one
you- how do
time.
you-
You guys ever sprinkle? I was like, what? Sage? I hear
No,
See what happens.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Nothing
Hold on.
happened.
Hold on a
One
second.
psychoactive or anything.
You can sniff Parmesan cheese. Like you can take it on. That's cheese.
Yeah.
You can taste it.
Smell like butt.
It smells like butt. Yeah, it
stinks.
maybe crack.
I don't know.
That's
That
that
was
fecal
somebody was
bacteria.
hiding in their butt. Smell
yeah,
like
there you
butt.
go.
What's it called?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Putrescine
Somebody
or
was-
cadaverine.
somebody was
those
hooping.
Bacterias
There
that
you go.
grow on animal products.
I wonder why the prosecution, the defense brought up, like almost as if Floyd ingested or put something in his, you know what?
buttocks.
They did. They did.
They brought
That
it up.
was-
but-
that was weird.
But nobody's that fact haven't come out yet. But I'm wondering, did they find rectal? I don't know.
Interesting. That's a good
But the defense
question.
asked the question in the George Floyd case. He was like, he said, "Are you familiar with people smuggling drugs in their rectum?" And the defense was like, "No." And then he just moved on right away.
Because I feel like they were setting something up later. They're
Yeah.
gonna have an expert come and talk about something that
Hooping.
nobody knows.
I think they're gonna go for hooping because
It's
when-
hooping when they're swallowing, or
It
hooping
could be
is putting
both.
in
I
the
think
body.
it's both.
Any, it's storing smuggling drugs in your body. So when you go to Urban Dictionary and you look up hooping, it says shoving stuff up your butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people do it all the time. I mean, I don't know why this would be strange. People do that all the time. When you're running around with dope, you hide it on your person.
Of course.
But-
You don't keep it. You don't walk around with a crack in your hand and hey, go in the
That's
store
the
buying
rubber-
stuff.
Hold on,
The
hold on.
rubber glove
You
meme.
could put it. You
Yeah.
could put it in a Kraft Parmesan cheese bottle.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
So in the context, I don't think he was talking about smuggling drugs because he said I didn't do no drugs, and then when the cops like, but you got foam on your mouth, he was like, yeah, man, I was hooping. I think he's basically trying to
I
say
think he's saying playing basketball.
he's playing basketball.
I mean, that's what I
No,
would get.
I don't. I think he was being like, yeah, I shoved drugs in my mouth. I'm out of my mind. I'm losing it. And
so, but
was
he
so
said I
high
didn't
that he
take
just-
any drugs.
Right.
So is he saying
was
I
lying
didn't-
all over the place
I didn't
to
take any
everybody.
drugs. I just
Nah.
shoved them up my butt.
Nah, he was saying I ain't taking any drugs. I was hooping. That's
Right,
why
I
I'm
was playing
tired.
basketball.
That's why I got cotton mouth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He looked like a athletic guy. You know, he had a tank top on. He probably still hoop. He probably still shoot hoops
Not
every
in
now and
that
again.
state. My theory is he was just lying all over the place. He tried to sell a fake $20 bill. He lied to the cops.
no,
told him he
but-
was.
Yeah, we know he wasn't hooping. So I know he was
Right,
lying.
Right,
playing
but
basketball.
I want to get to the point of like why I bring up the story with Hunter Biden smoking Parmesan cheese. This guy, Hunter Biden, can go on TV and admit to the world the son of the president is a crack addict that smoked whatever white powder he found on the underside of his table. The story about George Floyd, look, it's a big club. We know we're not in it. Barack Obama talks about. He's like, oh yeah, I smoked. Did Obama do coke? I don't know
Oh,
if that.
sure.
I think he said he did something in college, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought that's. I don't know for sure.
He
so I'm
did
gonna-
TA, total absorption, where they
was that?
take a hit of weed and you hold it in until it completely absorbs in, and when you breathe out, there's no
Well,
smoke.
that's not what I mean. I mean like
Obama
a hard
was
drug.
hardcore.
Like a
But I ain't never
drug,
heard no
yeah.
smoke. I used to smoke when I was
I'm just
young.
saying
like that.
if you get caught and get arrested for smoking pot, not so much now because it's recreational, it's
Come
legal
on.
now. You're not going to be president. But Obama can get elected and then come out and be like, oh
because
yeah,
he never got arrested.
look at
Yeah.
when the story comes out about Hunter Biden and the crack pipe and all this stuff, the media buries it. They don't want anyone to know. So you've absolutely got an elite class of ultra privileged drug addicts. They just get away with it. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, because I think some of it, they're smarter. You know, where was he smoking Parmesan cheese? Probably in his house. He probably wasn't smoking Parmesan cheese on a corner of 6th and May or whatever.
Right.
So the problem is that, you know, these crackheads are so cracked out of their mind, man. They're out in the open doing crack.
Oh, yeah, Obama admitted to doing cocaine.
Yeah. So, but think about it. How many people done cocaine and never got caught because they were doing it in the privacy of their home? They may have escaped getting caught buying it from the dealer. But I mean, I think that there's a level of stupidity that comes along with people who get caught. As a former police officer, we used to have this saying, and it goes, every police department probably says this: you don't catch the smart ones.
Yeah.
You don't catch people that's smart.
Yep.
You catch the dummies
Yeah,
that
but-
are smoking weed, driving down the street, banging music with the
Yep.
windows down, smoking weed to the weed just flying out of the car, and they drive by you, and you're like,
okay,
bro, are you really? Now everybody at the stoplight is looking at me like, are you going to do something about this? And I would have never done anything about it. I could care less. Who cares? It's a little ticket that you're going to get. They're going to throw it out in the court of law. You're going to waste my time. But you're just rolling down the street, banging music, causing attention to yourself, and smoke is billowing out of your window.
And in a way, you got it, because if you don't, other people are going to emulate the behavior, and then everyone on the street's going to be high driving, or not everyone.
They know the cops ain't going to do nothing.
But now you heard, like, in a bunch of these states, cops can't pull people over for smoking weed.
Yeah, I mean, even when,
or for smelling it, smelling the weed,
Yeah.
right.
For smelling weed, not smoking it,
right?
Because it's still impairment of driving impaired.
But smelling marijuana is not justification for a stop.
That's been gone for our department. That's been gone probably since 2012 or earlier. It's when they started. It was a case that happened. I can't remember the name of the case, but once they started legalizing medical marijuana and stuff, the smell of marijuana is not a justification for you going to somebody's house, because they could have a medical marijuana card. It's not justification. However, when you put somebody on a traffic stop, there's a difference between burning marijuana and fresh marijuana. So burning marijuana in a car means nothing. You already smoked it. I don't have anything. I smoked it. Fresh marijuana is a different smell, and that can give you justification to stop somebody and get a dog, or maybe even go into somebody's car.
Is that partly because of intent to sell? Because I think what I learned
it's that you have nothing left if you smoked it.
Oh, so you're just looking for the piece, I guess.
I've had cops pull me over and then lie, claiming they smelled pot. I don't smoke pot. I one time when I was a teenager with some friends, and I was like, this is dumb, I don't care.
What was the next step? They said they smelled pot, and then what did they say?
Then he walked up to my car, and I rolled out. So I got my wallet, my keys on the dashboard. I got my hands on the steering wheel, windows rolled down. Cop walks right up and goes, hey, how's it? Whoa, what's that? Whoa, sir, I smell marijuana. And I went, excuse me? And he's like, I'm going to have to ask you to get out of the vehicle. And I was like, okay. And I get out. I'm in my work uniform, so I have these jumpsuits for the airline at O'Hare. And then he immediately walks me to his car, puts me in cuffs, calls for backup. Backup shows up. Secondary officer comes and holds the cuffs, in the middle. And then the cop goes and starts searching my car without my permission. The other cop starts talking to me and just small talk nonsense. The cop walks up and he's got what looks like some bit of plant. And he goes, what is this? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, it's marijuana. And I was like, is it yours? And he was like, no, I got it from your car. And I was like, no, you didn't, because I don't smoke. And he was like, it was in your car. And I'm like, I work at O'Hare. They do random drug tests. I work with planes. I don't smoke. And then he was like, just confess, and this will be a lot easier. And I was like, confess to what? It's not mine. Just confess, and it'll be a lot easier. At this point, I'm talking to the other cop, and I guess the one cop goes back to my car, and he's telling me that it's going to be really hard for me. It's going to get a whole lot worse unless I just admit right now that I was driving under the influence, that I've been smoking. And I'm just like, dude, I don't smoke. We do random drug tests. At this point, the cop who pulled me over walks back over and goes, who's the firefighter? And I went, my dad. Then the other cop uncuffs me and they go home, kid. And they got in their cars and they left. I had a firefighter's emblem in my glove box that my dad gave me. And once they saw that, they backed off. But they legit, my car was full of Taco Bell garbage wrappers. I don't smoke. The drug, like you work for the airlines, you get random drug tests. You're done. You lose your job. Nobody's smoking there. Yeah. And so that was it. The dude pulled me over and used the smell of marijuana as justification to get me out of the car and search everything. And like legit, I was leaving work. I'd work 16 hours. I don't smoke. Yeah,
I can see that happening. Some cops they get power hungry, man, and they don't want to do the real work. They want to do the easy route. And so if they can get you to admit to some stuff, they get arrested or whatever. It's rare. I mean, because there's so many people out here committing crimes. Maybe if you're I don't know if you're in a rural area or whatever, but
rural.
See, rural is probably a lot more dicey because they don't have no work. You're their work. In the city, you can't
it's too much work.
Please stop selling drugs. Stop. I'm just not gonna arrest anybody anymore. It's too much. It's like if you ever tried to go after people, you'll be arresting people all day long. I mean, all day long, people are doing crime. So, but that doesn't excuse what happened to you. It's funny because when I was a kid,
I don't blame every cop for that.
Yeah, because that. But see, this is what I want to happen in our society is that empower people to be able to do what's right in that situation when you get hemmed up by cops that shouldn't be doing what they're doing. Not to defund the police department, right. But let's spend resources to empower people, and let's get those people turned in. Because what could you have done in that situation if I was a cop and I was telling you, like, look, get their badge number, and your dad is a firefighter. He was a firefighter, and then report them. Wow. And your dad will have a lot more weight on the command staff, because this is what people don't understand. Command staff don't give a F about these patrol officers. They care about publicity. They care about, and not all. You get a little rural area in the county somewhere, they all buddy. But in many police departments, the command staff will review it and say, you know what? Screw that guy. We'll run him over. This will make our department look good, and we'll do it to him.
Let me tell you my story from when I was like 15 in south side of Chicago. So there's a carnival. They come and they occupy certain blocks because they need a parking lot and they need space. So these moving carnivals do a deal with the residents. Yeah. We'll make sure nobody goes on your property. Well, I had a friend who lived in one of those houses. We go to the carnival, we play the quarter game, we play squirt gun game, knock over the clown, win some prizes. We go and we sit on his lawn and we're chilling, and a security guard walks over to us and he goes, "Hey, you guys got to leave." And my friend goes, "This is my house." "I don't care. You got to leave. You can't be here." And then he's like, "This is my house. Where am I supposed to go?" And then we get up. And then I start saying the same thing. Like, my friend lives here. One of the security guards grabs the skin of my chest, like he pinches into my chest and starts prodding my head, saying, "Are you stupid? It's time to go," and yelling at me. So I'm like, dude, just left a physical mark on my body, and I'm a little arrogant, prick. So I immediately call my dad, and I'm like, dude, this guy just walked up, went on my friend's property, was told it was his property, and then he physically grabbed me, left a mark, and poked my head. That's assault and battery in Illinois. My dad goes, "You're right. What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I want to press charges." And he was like, "I'll be right there," because there's a few blocks from my house. He shows up. He says, "Who was the guy?" I'm like, "It's those two guys there." It was an older guy, probably in his late 50s. So he's like, "All right, call the police." I call the police and I say, "I'm on my friend's property. Security guard just assaulted me." The cops show up and they walk over to us and say, "What's going on?" My dad's like, "This is my son." You're like, pull up your shirt, show him your chest. And I had a mark on my chest because he grabbed, pinched into my chest. And then he's like, and all the other kids who were with me are like, yeah, he started poking him on the head with his hand, mocking him, calling him dumb. And the cop's like, all right, we're getting to the bottom of this. We see the cops walk over to the security guards, start talking, shake the hands of the guys, start laughing. And then the guy walks over and says, "Listen, we're just going to say, we're done. It's no big deal. How about everybody goes home?" And I'm like, nah, that's not how it works. Mm-hmm. I want this guy, charged. And they're like, "Well, we're not going to do that." So my dad goes, "I want a supervisor on scene now." Right. White shirt shows up. The white shirt walks over immediately to the guy who was screwing with me, pats him on the shoulder, shakes his hand, starts laughing and smiling, walks over to us and says, "Here's what's going to happen. Your son's going to be arrested for trespassing, or you can leave right now." Because it turns out the guy who had committed assault and battery, I know it wasn't the biggest thing in the world, but in Illinois, assault and battery is when you embarrass someone or touch them. Turns out he was a retired cop. So there was nothing that could be done. So my dad, who was a firefighter, was like, "I'm going to file a complaint with Internal Affairs." And guess what happened? Nothing. It was just...
I can see that happening.
Yep.
I mean, I can see it happening, man. I mean, it's, to me, based on my experience, it's rare. But if you are to think that cops aren't going to hold each other's back in some cases, they're not going to lie in some cases, then you must think that cops are gods. There's some fallible human beings that make huge mistakes, and I want us to eradicate them. And you eradicate them
professionally.
Eradicate the mistakes.
Yeah. Eradicate them, meaning getting them out of the profession, not killing them.
I like that word, eradicate.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.